So my sister lives in South Africa with her husband and kids, and I keep in touch with her and her kids. And in April 2012, her 20-year-old son was actually killed by a great white shark in South Africa. This was obviously extremely unexpected and very, very tragic, and it devastated the entire family there. About a week later, I was actually seeing Marina for something totally unrelated, and then Marina told me that David, my nephew, had shown up and he needed to talk to me. First, what he did was he identified himself by telling me things about an interaction that he and I had that only he and I knew. So I knew it was for sure him. And then he told me that he had a detailed message that he needed to get to his family in South Africa, which he wanted to dictate to me. And when he was done, I thanked him, but I said, David, I don't know how this is going to work because my sister's not really open to this type of thing. So I don't know, what she's going to think when I try to give her this message. And David assured me, and he says, don't worry, she'll be totally open to it. Just like he predicted, she was totally open to the message. And David had also included a message for his girlfriend, who was in a deep depression at the time. I didn't even know actually that he had a girlfriend, so I had this message for a girl whom I didn't really know actually existed. Turns out she was actually having a terrible time, and this message totally transformed her life and got her back on her feet. A few months later, my sister was actually in Vancouver, and her and her family was still struggling, and so she wanted to go see Marina to see if she could get more information from David. One of the things my sister really wanted to know was, what was the plan? Because David's father, her husband, was just tearing his hair out because he's a doctor, and he arrived at the scene and he kept on thinking that if he had arrived earlier or if he had done something differently, that he could have saved his son's life. And he would not stop thinking about that. When my sister was with Marina, David said that, even before he was born, his plan was to die when he was 20. He was never supposed to live past 20. And if he hadn't been killed by the shark, he would have been killed in a car accident a few days later. My sister was very interested by that statement because David was actually going to go on this long road trip a couple days later, and he'd been asking for permission to use the car. And his dad was a little bit reluctant and had just finally given him permission the morning of the day that he died. Both my sister and her husband realized that his death wasn't a tragedy. It was all part of the plan. So there was no more looking back and wondering about, well, what if this, should I have done that, or feeling guilty. And so they both were at peace, and the whole family was at peace after that. It was really amazing.